this year, the 10 days of Tshuva had a unique significance. And that is October 7th fell out right in the middle of these 10 days of Tshuva between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And I want to talk about the significance of October 7th and how it applies to us and how we are to, this year, experience the Hebrew date of October 7th, which is the day of Shmini Atzeres Simchat Torah, the most joyous day of the year. Because there's a question that people are asking. How should we celebrate this year, Shmini Atzeres Simchat Torah, which is the most joyous day of the year, when it's really the first anniversary of October 7th? So I'd like to address this question and begin by saying as follows. On Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and similarly throughout the 10 days of Tshuva, we said earlier, Dirshu Hashem b'matzoi, seek out God when He is found, and therefore we should increase in prayer. One of the prayers that we increase is Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, which means our Father, our King. And we say this every day of the 10 days of Tshuva. And I want to read the last few Avinu Malkeinus, because we read it every year, but sometimes it's aloof. And this year I feel it's very close. We say like this, Avinu Malkeinu, our Father, our King, have compassion upon us and upon our infants and children. Our Father, our King, do it for the sake of those who were slain for your holy name. October 7th. Our Father, our King, do it for the sake of those who were slaughtered for your oneness. Our Father, our King, do it for the sake of those who went through fire and water for the sanctification of your holy name. Our Father, our King, avenge the spilled blood of your servants. Our Father, our King, do it for your sake, if not for ours. Our Father, our King, do it for your sake and deliver us. Our Father, our King, do it for the sake of your abounding mercies. Our Father, our King, do it for the sake of your great, mighty, and awesome name, which is proclaimed over us. And finally, we conclude, our Father, our King, be gracious to us and answer us, for we have no meritorious deeds. Deal charitably and kindly with us and deliver us. This is the message of October 7th. A terrible thing happened. But after this terrible thing happened, what do we say? God, we're going to proclaim your name throughout the entire world. And we will see your charity, because we end with the words, deliver us, which is the coming of Mashiach. My grandfather told a story many years ago, and I said this October 7th. I was a child when I heard this story. I did not understand it. And he said there was a father who was taking his child on a journey. They were going from one city to the other city, and they were traveling for days. And the child was tired, and he was hungry. And he said, Daddy, when are we going to get to our destination? When are we going to see the next city? And his father said, my dear child, when you will see the cemetery, you will know that we are approaching the next city. And I never understood the story until a number of years ago. My wife and I went to the Ukraine, and we visited the tombs of holy tzaddikim there. And I realized for the first time what the story meant. Because over there, every little village and every little city has outside of it a cemetery. So as you're coming up to the city, what do you see? You see the cemetery. And my grandfather said this is the same in life. When we see a cemetery, when we see death, when we see horrors, when we see terrorism, you should know right after that, we're going to see the city, we're going to see Jerusalem, we're going to see our salvation. So, how should we experience October 7th? So first and foremost, as Jews, we answer a question with another question. And Someone asked me the other day, Rabbi, why are we calling this date October 7th? It happened in Israel. We should call it Simchat Torah or Shmini Atzeres, the date that it happened on the Jewish calendar. Why is it given October 7th, similar to September 11th or 9/11? And I said, you know what? You just answered your own question. He said, what do you mean? He said, it's very simple. I am so happy it is called October 7th. Because October 7th will go down in history as a very dark day. I don't want to in any way diminish the joy of Simchat Torah. And because it's October 7th, it's going to be celebrated on the English date, not on the Hebrew date. So Simchat Torah remains pristine, remains joyous. Do not mix these two holidays. One is October 7th, and number two is Simchat Torah. Furthermore, even though in reality it happened, Simchat Torah, as Jews, we have a calendar. As Jews, we follow the calendar. In other words, what does that mean? We see this even on a personal, God forbid, no one should know from this, nicht gedacht. When a person mourns, he's an avel, or she's an avel, for her father and mother. Officially, you're mourning for 7 days. But in reality, you're not mourning 7 days. Because it comes Shabbos, you take a shower, you put on your makeup, and you put on your Shabbos clothing, you get up from the low box, and Shabbos is Shabbos. You have wine, and you have fish, and you have meat, and you celebrate. Why? Because Shabbos, you are not allowed to mourn. But the question is, what do you mean? Just a few days ago, someone passed away, a beloved father or mother. Doesn't matter. Torah dictates your mood. The Torah dictates your attitude. It's Shabbos. Shabbos, we don't mourn. Shabbos LaHashem, it's a day unto God. And the same is true with Simchat Torah. On one hand, a terrible thing happened, a terrible tragedy happened. But you know what? What does the calendar say? It says you are supposed to rejoice. How much? Unlimited. Unlimited joy. That is the way we celebrate October 7th. We take the Torah, we dance with the Torah, and we show how the Jewish people live on forever. We are indestructible. We are eternal. Jewish continuity. This Torah we pass on to our children and our grandchildren for all generations to come. No terrorist, no enemy, no Hitler in the world will have the power to take away our holidays, to take away our religion, to take away our God. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have any question, please write it in the comments.